Hi, I'm Giuseppe Zappia, AI/ML Specialist Solution Architect at AWS. Today I'm going to show you how to set up a SageMaker Studio environment to accelerate model development and streamline collaboration on your data science projects. We'll cover domain setup, security features, and customization. So let's dive right in. SageMaker Studio provides a managed IDE based on either Jupyter Lab or VS Code for data scientists to quickly build, train, and deploy models. By separating the resources needed for development, data processing, training, and hosting, you can optimize the infrastructure requirements at each stage of the ML lifecycle. For Jupyter Lab, Studio also allows users to create shared spaces within the domain, enabling multiple team members to collaborate in real time. Let's start setting up a domain in SageMaker Studio. I'll show you how to do this through the UI, but all of the setup can be automated through the SageMaker APIs as well. The first choice you'll see is whether to set up for a single user or to set up for an organization. The single user setup is suitable for getting started or experimenting with Studio, while advanced users and enterprises will use organizational setup as it provides more options for configuration. I'll walk through the organizational setup here so that you can see a more in-depth configuration. Here you'll supply a name for your domain first. I'll name mine SageMaker-domain. Your next choice is how you want to access Studio. If you have IAM Identity Center configured, you can use it as your identity provider for accessing Studio and give users a tile in their portal. If you choose IAM, users can access Studio via the SageMaker AI console. In this example, I will use Identity Center. For now, I will also select No Identity Center User Group. We'll look at user management again later. The next step allows you to configure roles for users to access resources from inside SageMaker Studio. You can use SageMaker Role Manager to control access through the ML activities, or supply your own role that has a trust relationship with the SageMaker service. The SageMaker Full Access Managed policy is a good starting point. Then you should scope it down to the specific services and resources for your use case. I've already built a role, so I'll choose it here. In the Configure Applications section, you can start customizing the user experience for your data science teams. First, you can link your domain to Amazon Q Developer so that your data science teams can use it as an AI-powered assistant to accelerate their development lifecycle. If you want to use the free tier, you can add a specific policy to your execution role, or you can supply the subscription arm for Pro. Next, SageMaker Studio provides Docker support for building images inside of Studio for testing prior to publishing to ECR for training or inference as an example. To help reduce idle resources, SageMaker Studio has an idle shutdown feature to spin down unused Studio spaces after a period of time. This will help reduce the cost for unused compute, but any in-memory resources will need to be rerun when the space is restarted. Domain users can also interact with SageMaker Managed ML Flow, which provides an experiment tracking and model evaluation capabilities right inside of their Studio UI. We'll cover this more in depth in another video. The Customize UI screen allows administrators to hide UI elements that their teams don't use to reduce visual noise. We'll leave these as the defaults for now, but you can edit them later. Here, administrators can control network access for their SageMaker domain. You have the option of a VPC-only configuration or using SageMaker's public access. Using the VPC-only setup allows you to control the flow of traffic using your existing internet access policies or not provide internet access to the SageMaker domain at all, depending on your VPC setup. When using a VPC-only setup, you should set up VPC endpoints for access to AWS services. I've created a VPC ahead of time, so I will select it here. Then select your private subnets and security groups. Here you can configure custom encryption through AWS Key Management Service or simply use the base service managed keys for storage encryption. After that, you can specify the defaults that users will see for minimum and maximum disk space on their Studio spaces. Now you can review your configuration parameters and create your domain. Setup will take a few minutes, and then you can customize it further. With my domain set up, I can add data scientists so they can start using it. To add users, go to the User Profile section, then choose Assign Users and Groups. From there, you'll see a list of users in your Identity Center directory. Add the users you'd like and choose Assign Users and Groups. This will grant them the default execution role and add them to the domain. You can modify this for individual users by editing them after they are added. You can enable custom tag propagation on the domain, which will propagate a series of tags to all the SageMaker resources created from inside the domain. You can have tags both at the domain and at the user level, providing additional fields for cost attribution. To further customize your domain, you can go to the Environment tab. Here you can do things like bring your own custom Elastic Container Registry images for spaces, and lifecycle configuration scripts to bootstrap environments when they're spun up. To quickly recap, in this video we explored several key features of Amazon SageMaker Studio to help you create a secure and efficient environment to accelerate your AI/ML projects. We did all the setup through the console for this demonstration, but the SageMaker API documentation has all the references you'll need to automate this process through your CI/CD pipelines as well. Thank you for watching and happy experimenting with Amazon SageMaker Studio. See you in the next video.